You've been misled. McDonald's is not a fast food empire, not at least like you think. Sure, they've got burgers, fries, milkshakes, but that's where the profit comes in, kid, and way off from where the real power comes in. Have you ever stopped to consider how a $1 burger firm constructed an empire that stretches around the world and makes billions of dollars? It's not all ketchup and sesame buns. It's real estate. Yup, McDonald's is literally one of the biggest real estate dynasties on Earth. Their secret? They don't sell grub, per se. They own the land upon which it's sold. Each time a franchise opens, McDonald's doesn't just license the name. They may buy the land, build the store, and then rent it out to the franchisee. Now try to guess who gets paid every single month, no matter burgers sold? So as you're thinking fast food, they're playing Monopoly, literally buying the board. And here's where it gets really crazy. This model is so dominant that McDonald's makes more money on rent than they do on food. Welcome to the real McDonald's business plan, not burgers, buildings. You've been lied to your entire life, and you probably purchased the lie with fries and a Coke. If you say McDonald's, your brain goes crazy with images of Big Macs, Happy Meals, and gleaming yellow arches lit up in the dark. You think about birthday parties in childhood, late-night drive-through runs, and maybe that weird guy who eats one Big Mac a day. But the real shocker, McDonald's is not a fast food business. Not precisely. That's the illusion they've peddled you. What they're really peddling is something much more profitable and influential. Let's take a closer look. Exactly how does a dollar burger company grow into something worth over $200 billion? Doesn't compute unless you comprehend the real game. See, McDonald's figured out something that most companies never do. The food is just an illusion. It's a draw card for consumers. But behind the scenes, there is a machine so well lubricated, it would make Wall Street envious. Flipping patties isn't what it's all about. It's about flipping properties. McDonald's understood that domination of the land under the Golden Arches was more profitable than any product on the menu. Think about it. The food business is fickle. Meat, dairy, and oil prices are volatile. Trends turn around. Folks will eat burgers one day. Folks will eat vegan kale wraps the next. Real estate, though? That's power. That's control. That's legacy. Ray Kroc, the guy who transformed McDonald's into an empire beginning with a humble burger joint, understood this secret in advance. When he noticed that the franchisees were making money on the food, he turned the model around. He didn't want McDonald's to be a restaurant chain. It was going to be an empire of real estate. With Kroc at the helm, McDonald's began buying the ground under each new restaurant. Instead of merely letting franchisees lease a site wherever they wanted, McDonald's would acquire prime property, construct the restaurants itself, and then lease it back to the operators. It had two effects. One, McDonald's owned the most valuable thing in the deal, the land. And two, franchisees had to pay rent. Not just any old rent, but a percentage of their income. So whether they sold 10 burgers or 10,000, McDonald's always got paid. This model was genius. It meant that McDonald's wasn't relying on people's eating habits. They were building a dependable stream of income through rent. They were turning every burger sold into a kind of tax. And with thousands of stores around the world, that adds up fast. Today, over 90% of McDonald's restaurants are operated by franchisees, and the company earns billions, not from selling fries, but from being landlords. It's a global real estate strategy disguised as a drive-through with clowns and combos. This plan was pure genius. It had the impact that McDonald's wasn't relying on individuals' eating habits. They were building a sure-thing source of revenue through rent. They were converting every burger bought into some form of tax. And with so many stores worldwide as there were, that number adds up fast. Today, over 90% of McDonald's restaurants are owned by franchisees, and the corporation is making billions. Not for the sale of fries, but as landlords. It's a global real estate idea disguised as a drive-through with clowns and combos. When you step into a McDonald's, you think you're entering a restaurant. That's the pitch, the smells, the menus, the golden arches. They all scream food. But suppose I told you that wasn't the goal. Suppose the Big Mac was just bait. McDonald's has built an entire empire on the belief that you're buying lunch, when in fact, you're stepping into one of the most ingeniously contrived business pitfalls ever devised. It's not about feeding people. It's about feeding bottom lines. Let's talk about numbers. McDonald's raked in about $23 billion in 2023. But that's where the shock comes in. None of that was because of fry and burger sales. A tremendous amount of it was because of property, because every franchise has to pay rent, and McDonald's makes the rules. While everyone else fights for marketplace share, McDonald's gets to collect rent on over 36,000 locations globally. They're not selling burgers. They're selling space. And in the game of capitalism, space is power. This is a brilliant and sinister business strategy. By owning title to the land under every restaurant, McDonald's has not only ownership of the brand, but the land its franchisees sit on, which means if the store fails, the company doesn't lose anything. The franchisee loses. McDonald's owns the property, keeps on collecting rent, and can open a new store or sell the property for an astronomical sum. It's a system that shifts risk from the behemoth to the small guy, and people keep waiting in line to get in on it. This is how McDonald's evolved from being about burgers and buildings to more about buildings. In fact, Ray Kroc, the man who built McDonald's into an international giant, once spoke those very words. "We are not in the hamburger business. We are in the real estate business." It wasn't funny. That was the plan all along. And it worked. While other chains come and go on menu fads, McDonald's is anchored by actions, not agreements. It's not a fast food chain. It's a landlord masquerading as one. Consider the authority this grants them. All they own is land, and through that, location, leverage, and longevity. Need a complaining franchisee replaced? Do it. Need sales to decline? The rent still gets paid. In those urban areas where real estate costs explode, McDonald's bottom line explodes as well, without flipping one patty. This is no longer about satisfying customers. It's about asset control. They're not hunting for hungry consumers. They're hunting for high-end parcels of land and winning. So the next time you see that shining yellow M on the highway, remember this. It's not a promise of fries and nuggets. It's a flag planted in high-value ground, a sign that says, "We claim this territory." McDonald's did not just open restaurants. They opened a money machine powered by rent checks and deeds to property. And the craziest thing? Most folks still think it's about burgers. That's how good the illusion is. Real estate isn't just a side hustle for McDonald's. It's their core model. Think about it. Food is risky. Tastes change. Health trends shift. Supply chains break. But land? Land is dependable. You can lease it, sell it, build on it, or sit on it, and it'll likely be worth more tomorrow. That's why McDonald's structured their entire business like a REIT, a real estate investment trust, except they disguise it under the smell of French fries. It's genius in a paper wrapper. This strategy didn't just make McDonald's rich, it made them untouchable. By owning the land, they could control franchisees completely. Want to rebel against corporate policies? Good luck. Your landlord is your boss. Miss a payment? You're out. This allowed McDonald's to maintain strict brand control while keeping risk low. The food could fail, the service could suck, but the rent, that kept flowing. Land doesn't care if the fries are soggy. It appreciates in value, slowly, silently, and always upward. That's power, not ketchup. Ray Kroc, the man behind McDonald's explosive expansion, didn't just see a restaurant. He saw a goldmine of real estate. When others were counting fries, he was counting square footage. Kroc partnered with Harry Sonneborn, a financial mastermind, who pushed a revolutionary idea. We are not in the hamburger business. We are in the real estate business. It changed everything. From then on, every new McDonald's location became a strategic piece on a financial chessboard, with the golden arches standing tall over carefully chosen plots. Imagine this. You're not in the food business. You're in the rent business. That's McDonald's true play. The company realized early on that land doesn't expire like lettuce, and buildings don't spoil like beef. So instead of just franchising the name, they began buying the land under the golden arches. This wasn't a random strategy. It was cold, calculated power building. Because when you own the land, you own the leverage. The franchisees might flip burgers, but they also pay rent every month, no matter what. No matter. So next time you see a McDonald's on the corner, don't just see burgers. See a real estate node, a profit engine running in the background. That building isn't just flipping patties, it's flipping capital. McDonald's has gamified urban space, turned corner lots into cash cows, and wrapped it all in happy meals. It's not just fast food, it's fast capital, and most people are too busy ordering to notice. But now that you know, doesn't every fry taste just a little more strategic? Franchising is a term meaning freedom. Be your own boss. Own part of the golden arches. But the McDonald's franchise model isn't for freedom. It's for control. When you buy a franchise, you don't buy burgers. You buy strict rules, Designated suppliers, menu standardization, and ruthless fees. It's a gilded cage. The entrepreneurial illusion is presented in front of you, but what really happens? You're renting a system you have no control over. And the man who owns the place, always peering over your shoulder, and always for a fee. McDonald's doesn't sell you a business. They sell you a proposition, a meaty, lawyered-up screen that tells you what to sell, how to make it, how to sanitize, what to wear, and when to come in. Depart from script, prepare to be sued, or closed down. This isn't entrepreneurship as it used to be. It's compliance to a one-size-fits-all machine. Sure, you do make money, but what is it costing you? Your creativity, your flexibility, your freedom, everything sacrificed for the illusion of security and success. Most of the franchisees enter expecting to be purchasing their way into proprietorship, but quickly discover they're actually managers, leasing to an invisible empire. And the lease, non-negotiable. Even when sales are down, even when inflation surfaces, even when your store fails, McDonald's collects their share, on time, every time. It's a risk transfer model. They make money no matter if you succeed or flame out. The franchisee receives the debt, the labor, and the bullet. McDonald's just receives the deed. You can argue, but the brand pushes customers in. It's true, the arches do drive traffic, but in most markets, competition is fierce, and profit margins thin. One bad quarter, one economic downturn, and a franchisee could be drowning in debt. Day after day, McDonald's continues to collect rent, royalties, and kickbacks from suppliers. It's a system designed to keep the anchor firm at any cost, even if it exhausts its operators. Loyalty pays off until it doesn't, and complaints, too often hidden in silence or threats of lawsuits. This system, as ruthless as it is genius. McDonald's. It creates a steady stream of revenue with minimal risk. The buildings are owned. The brand is uniform. The labor is outsourced. And the risk passed along to the people in the uniforms. McDonald's doesn't need to flip burgers to succeed. They've already succeeded by collecting rent on every square foot of their empire. It's not fast food. It's fast finance. A billion-dollar trap with a smile. So the next time you see a franchise opening around the corner, remember, it's not always a dreamer doing it. It might be someone falling into a trap, dressed in corporate blue. The golden arches shine brightly, but at times, they cast very long shadows. The McDonald's business model isn't flawed. It's functioning exactly as intended, but not for the dreamers, for the landlords. And that is the real Happy Meal. You see what I mean by now? McDonald's is more than burgers and fries. It's a real estate colossus disguised as a snack. But that's where the brilliance stops. Their dominance stretches into banking, shipping, agriculture, and even the corridors of power. When you own land, labor, and supply lines, you're not merely a restaurant. You're an international giant. And McDonald's puts that power in play with a smile. With a MASCOT. With a so tacky it's actually charming slogan. I'm loving it. What's there not to love when you hold the game board? Their value chain is the world's finest tuned. Every fry's accounted for. Every bun gets sized. They own farms, factories, fleets, directly or indirectly, through powerful relationships. This ain't efficiency. This is dominance. And with control, negotiating clout, they dictate prices, demand perfection, and quantify it globally. The result? An effective empire with nothing wasted, and everything turned to profit, not food. It's a symphony of logistics dressed in sesame seed attire. McDonald's doesn't just adapt to culture, it creates it. From Olympic sponsorships to promoting Happy Meals into the group psyche of childhood, it dictates taste and habit-making across generations. It's not just marketing, it's social architecture. They understand psychology and use it with precision. Red and yellow to spark hunger, playgrounds to plant brand love, toys to create joy. They don't sell food, they sell feeling. And feeling, unlike fries, doesn't lose heat. Behind each decision stands data, mountains of it. McDonald's collects, analyzes, and equips itself with information. What time people eat, how long they linger, what is purchased together, how the weather affects choices. They employ artificial intelligence to predict behavior and modify menus in real time. You didn't think you made the choice? The system did. Burger science meets behavioral science. And when you control the data, you don't just cook lunch. You choreograph society's habits, bite by bite, app by app. And then there's the lobbying. McDonald's doesn't just shape taste, it shapes policy. Their lobbyists push for laws and tax incentives that benefit them. Zoning permits. They fight against wage hikes, unionization, and health legislation that threatens profit. They have a seat at the table, not just corporate tables, but government chambers. This isn't just business, it's power. Quiet, insidious, systemic power. The arches aren't just golden. They're political, because when you feed a nation, you don't just make profits, you make power. Next time you bite into a Big Mac, consider this. What am I really eating? Behind the sesame seed bun lies a global real estate empire, a data giant, a political presence, and a master of contemporary psychology. McDonald's is not just a fast food chain, it is a symbol, a blueprint of how capitalism puts a smiley face on, while building empires behind cash registers. This is not just fast food, it's a blueprint, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Welcome to the real McDonald's, supersized and calculated. In the end, McDonald's isn't just selling burgers, it's selling dreams, wrapped in contracts, built on land, powered by strategy. Behind every fry is a machine of control, shaping cities, habits, and generations. Once you see the truth, that cheerful "I'm lovin' it" starts to sound more like a victory chant of strategy over innocence. Now that you've seen behind the counter, do you still see McDonald's the same way? If this story opened your eyes, smash that like button, drop a comment telling us what shocked you the most, and subscribe to the channel for more hidden truths in plain sight. Real power starts with awareness.